Hey man, it's your boy Hayden 2 times. And today we got something a little different for y'all. It's draft season in the football world, so I figured why not get some of my opinions on the prospects of this year's draft class and drop them off. Let's get straight into it, y'all. With the first overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, I had the Arizona Cardinals selecting Kyler Murray, quarterback, Oklahoma. In my eyes, man, Kyler's the best football player in this draft, despite, being a little small, undersized, standing at 5'10", 194. Even if he was soaking wet with shoes on, this kid right here can flat out play, y'all, and all he does is win. You look back at his undefeated high school record. He played for Allen, top-tier wrecking ball team in Texas. And then even on in college, he didn't really play much his first years or so. But when he was a starter, he went 12-2, and his only losses coming to Texas and Alabama for obvious reasons, even though Texas was really a fluke. The Cardinals did just select Josh Rosen with a luxury pick last year, and it's hard seeing them pass up on a guy of Kyler's caliber. Coming in at number 2 in this year's draft, I have the 49ers taking Nick Bosa, edge from Ohio State. It's simple. San Fran needs pass rush, and the best pass rusher this year is on the board. Simple. They get him. I don't see John Lynch passing up on him. He's a great player. He could really switch that franchise around with quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo at the reins. And, look out for him to be a little bit better than his brother maybe. Coming in at number 3 on the 2019 NFL mock draft, I have the Jets, who I could really see them trading out of this position because, they're a pretty solid team now after free agency. But I have them taking Josh Allen, edge from Kentucky. It's hard for me to not go Quinnen Williams here, but the Jets desperately need somebody who can come off the edge and get to the quarterback, especially when you got guys like Tom Brady in the division. Josh Allen will do exactly that. Come off the edge. He can drop back in coverage a little bit. And, he should help them out a lot up front. With the 4th overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, have Oakland going Quinnen Williams, man. DT Bama. It's do or die here for John Gruden and the Raiders after trading away their best offensive and defensive players for first-rounders last year. And with their first pick on day 1, I have them getting a plug-and-play. They got to get a plug-and-play guy, and they do exactly that by getting the best player not named Kyler Murray in this year's draft. Quinnen will wreak havoc no matter where you place him, so hopefully that'll help Raiders fans forget about Big 52 in Chicago, man. Coming in at number 5 in this year's draft, we got Tampa Bay selecting Devin White, linebacker, LSU. With the loss of Quan Alexander to free agency, the Bucs shouldn't really hesitate to grab this tackling machine man to pair with Levante David to lead the Bucs back to relevancy, man. They got a solid team if they could figure out that situation at quarterback, because Jameis Winston's not looking like it. They could really have a good squad, man. With the 6th overall selection in the 2019 NFL Draft, I got the New York Giants selecting Dwayne Haskins, quarterback, the Ohio State University. Something has to be done in the Big Apple to address the lack of winning football they're putting out on Sundays. After trading away your best player and failing to land any big free agents, really, it's time to draft a new face of your franchise. Eli isn't getting any younger or better, so you have to take a top-tier quarterback here if you want any chance of winning in 2019, really. Haskins is a great player, man. He broke all kinds of records up there at Ohio State. And look for him to compete for the Rookie of the Year this year. Coming in at number 7, man, we got Jacksonville going with Jawan Taylor, offensive tackle from Florida. After locking up Nick Foles long term, you got to get him some help, man. So the Jags go O-line right here to begin shoring up that lackluster group of men that they expect to protect people. Juwan should be a franchise left tackle, and if he can continue to improve his pass blocking and maintaining his weight, he could become a good player in this league, man. Ooh, Detroit got him a good one at number 8. All right, we got Detroit taking T.J. Hawkinson, tight end from Iowa. For many, he's not the first tight end to come off the board in their mock drafts, but for me, he is. He's the best all-around tight end to me, you know. Despite having a fairly good free agency, including the signing of the former Steeler tight end Jesse James, Matt Stafford could still use a safety blanket who isn't scared to stick his nose in there in the run game. Hawk is without a doubt one of the grittiest blocking tight ends in the past few years, and he always finishes plays, man. That's what my boy Vach, he likes to say, finish your food, man. He would be a great toy for Matt Patricia in Detroit to play around with for years to come, man. Coming in at number 9, I got Buffalo selecting wide receiver DK Metcalf, Ole Miss. Buffalo flat out needs a receiver, and they get the most freakish specimen in this year's draft class to come catch balls for them this year, man. While I'm not as high on DK as many others may be, if he could improve on his route running, he could really be a problem in this league. And although I don't see that happening, I doubt Buffalo passes up on him here, man. Coming in at number 10, man, I got Denver selecting Drew Lock, quarterback from Missouri. Despite them trading for the 34-year-old Joe Flacco earlier this offseason, it's hard to not see the crush that John Elway has on the senior signal caller from Mizzou. Drew is the prototypical quarterback for a John Elway ran squad. He's big, athletic, confident, so expect to see them snatch him up if the other top 2 quarterbacks are off the board. Coming in at number 11, I got Cincinnati going with Rashawn Gary, defensive lineman from Michigan. Rashawn, he's an athletic freak who's very raw and hasn't produced as much as you would want from someone that gifted. Only about 9.5 sacks in 3 years in Michigan, but you're not drafting Rashawn based on his college stat sheet. You're drafting him based on his high ceiling. Gary, Atkins, and Dunlap could be a problem for O-lines for years to come in that division. And it's much needed with young up-and-coming quarterbacks in their division like Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson. Coming in at number 12, I got Green Bay shaking things up a lot, man. I got them taking an unexpected position very high in this draft. I got them taking Josh Jacobs, running back, Bama. With new head coach Matt LaFleur coming in, coming from Tennessee with an already established former Bama star running back, I see them getting their franchise running back right here to take some pressure off of A-Rod. Aaron Jones is a good young talent, but Jacobs could be a great. And Green Bay is due for a new game-changing running back that they have dearly missed since Eddie Lacy became feast mode. At number 13, I got the Miami Dolphins selecting Ed Oliver, front 7 player from Houston. Although it's tanking season in Miami, you got to start building somewhere because Tua won't be able to do it all himself next year. So Miami takes a potential anchor for their defense who has some serious all-pro potential, and if they put him in the right spot, I don't know if he would play 3-tech, 1-tech, standing up, or what else. But this man has some outrageous potential, and Miami is not going to pass that up. Coming in at number 14, I got Atlanta selecting Christian Wilkins, DT Clemson. After coming from one of the best D-lines in the country, the national champ will join a star-studded D-line in the ATL featuring up-and-coming pass rusher Takk McKinley and former Clemson teammates Vic Beasley and Grady Jarrett, who could be leaving next year as he's playing on the franchise tag this year. Despite having so many proven pass rushers, Atlanta still struggled to stop the run as they surrendered just a hair under 5 yards per carry to opponents on the ground this season. Wilkins helps that out a lot. With the 15th overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, I have Washington going with Daniel Jones, quarterback, Duke. With all of Washington's quarterbacks either being injured or past their primes or both, the Skins got to take one of the Elite Four quarterbacks. Jones is a tough gunslinger who will fight through adversity as he will have to with defenses featuring Tank Lawrence, Fletcher Cox, and more. If Jay Gruden can develop this guy, Washington is back in business in the NFC East. With the 16th overall pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Jonah Williams, offensive tackle, Bama. Carolina needs help on both lines of the football, but nothing is more important than protecting your franchise quarterback. So they go out and get the Bama star lineman, who I think could really thrive with a switch inside to guard and see himself in a situation like Zach Martin or Brandon Scherf and become a Pro Bowler in the future. With the first double dip in this year's draft, coming in at number 17, New York Giants have them selecting Brian Burns, defensive end, Florida State University. After trading away their best pass rusher, Dave Gettleman knows he has to replace him, and he does exactly that by grabbing Burns, who can really fly around and make plays in that stand-up outside linebacker role opposite of Zoe Carter. Coming in at number 18 in this year's mock draft, I got Minnesota selecting Andre Dillard, offensive tackle, Washington State. If you're going to pay a man $84 million guaranteed Arizona tees, then you better be able to block for him. And Minnesota wasn't able to do that in year one of the Kirk Cousins era. So they could literally go in any direction to address the issues amongst that offensive line. So right here I have them going best available, getting Dillard, who really helped out that Washington State O-line the past few years. Coming in at number 19, I got the Tennessee Titans selecting Marquise Hollywood Brown, wide receiver, Oklahoma. Marquise is, in my eyes, the most polished receiver in this year's draft, and you can see why with him being AB's cousin. An injury made him sit out of the combine, but I'm sure he would have lit it up, and now he gets to go light it up in Nashville as a slot receiver who can play outside and return kicks. He can even do a bit of tailback running if you want. Corey Davis and Marquise Brown, along with a solid run game, should really bolster Tennessee's playoff hopes. Coming in at number 20, I got Pittsburgh going with Devin Bush, linebacker from Michigan. With Shazier's future in doubt and Bud Dupree's disappointing start to his career, linebacker is a glaring need for the Steelers. They go grab the undersized athletic three-down backer from Michigan to lead that defense on the field on Sundays. Bush has the necessary speed and coverage ability to make an easy transition to the wheel linebacker spot so he can roam around free and make plays. With the 21st overall pick in the 2019 NFL mock draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Nazir Adderley, safety from Delaware. I could really see Seattle trading out of this pick, but for the sake of the mock draft, I'll just have them keep their pick. After losing two All-Pro safeties in Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas to injury and free agency in the past year, they could use some help on the back end to pair with McDougald and their two young corners. Adderley has tremendous ball skills and solid coverage ability thanks to his time at corner, but he could improve on his inconsistent tackling skills. Coming in at number 22, I got the Ravens going with edge Clelin Ferrell. Not too sure if that's how you pronounce his first name, but edge from Clemson. Baltimore lost two of their best pass rushers to free agency, so they got to make up the production. I could also see them going receiver here, but Harbaugh loves having an elite defense, and that starts with pressure on the quarterback, so that's exactly what he's going to go out and get this year's first round. At number 23, I have the Houston Texans selecting Cody Ford, offensive lineman from Oklahoma. After failing to find insurance for Deshaun Watson in free agency, Houston has to go O-line early and often in this year's draft, and that's exactly what they're going to do with the Oklahoma product, who helped out a lot with Kyler Murray's highlight tape this year. He can't start at all 5 positions, but he's a heck of a lot better than what they got, and he's a plug-and-play starter from day one with a bright future. Hey man, coming in at number 24, we got Oakland's second pick of the draft. I have them selecting Montez Sweat, edge from Mississippi State. The only reason Sweat fell so far is because of his heart condition. With 3 first-rounders, Gruden could look to build an elite defense. Already grabbed my number 1 player in this year's draft at number 4, Quinnen Williams. They could look to get an elite pass rusher with speed to help boost that horrible league-low sack total they posted last year of just 13 sacks. That is terrible. Coming in at number 25, I have Philadelphia going Dexter Lawrence, defensive tackle from Clemson. Dexter is a 340-pound big man who plays a lot faster than his size. He's coming off a first-team All-ACC selection and a national championship, and could help take pressure off Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham, and could cause problems for offensive blocking schemes. They won't draft him to sack the quarterback, as that's just not his game, man. Inside, he's a run stuffer, and they have plenty of pass rush already, so that's not what they're looking for in him. He'll sure as heck plug those inside runs, and he'll have to do a lot of that in a division full of great backs. Coming in at number 26, I have the Indianapolis Colts selecting cornerback Byron Murphy from Washington. Murphy is a ball-hawking man-cover corner who makes up for his lack of physical traits with outstanding instincts. The Colts are a young, up-and-coming squad looking to add secondary help, and they do exactly that by selecting the first corner off the board in this year's draft. Defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus will love the toughness this guy displays, run support, and look for him to become an instant starter for the Colts in 2019. At number 27, the Oakland Raiders get their 3rd player in the first round, Greedy Williams, cornerback, LSU. Greedy plays in honor of his name and does not back down from anybody. He's my favorite DB in this class, and it's really not even close. Greedy displays amazing physical traits, and if he could put on 10 or 15 pounds, he could become the missing piece in the Black Holes defense that they really could push them over the top of the hill. Greedy will come in day 1 and battle Gareon Conley for that number 1 corner spot and could very likely win it. Once Greedy puts on some weight and becomes more competitive in the run game, I see him becoming an elite corner in this league, there with the other LSU DBs. At number 28, I have San Diego Chargers selecting Jerry Tillery, defensive tackle from Notre Dame. While San Diego has no glaring needs whatsoever, I doubt they trade away their pick. It's a pretty valuable pick, even though it's late in the first round. But I doubt they use it on a rotational player. Instead, they're going to take a big defensive tackle who, when he is motivated, will dominate the middle of the trenches. Coming in at 6'7", 300 pounds, he plays with good pad level and toughness. If he isn't motivated, you might as well go into the game with 10 men on defense. Another double dip in this year's draft. I have coming in at number 29, Seattle taking N'Keal Harry, wide receiver, Arizona State. Seattle already has a solid receiving core with Doug Baldwin and Tyler Lockett, but the two are often injured, and Doug Baldwin isn't getting any younger. After inking Russell to that huge contract, you got to get him some help in the passing game, and Harry has all the traits to become a wide receiver 1 in this league. And he won't be rushed since they already have 2 proven receivers. This is a run-first offense, and Pete Carroll's going to love what N'Keal Harry brings to the table as a run blocker. He gets his pro comparison thanks to his amazing jump ball skills and his back shoulder fade ability. Coming in at number 30, we got Green Bay Packers selecting Noah Fant, tight end, Iowa. After drafting one offensive stud to help out A-Rod at pick number 12, the Packers take the second Iowan tight end off the board and Noah Fant. Noah is a speedy, athletic tight end who will have time to develop behind Jimmy Graham. If he can become more of a factor in the run game, so that defenses won't just trigger on the pass, then the kid could put the writing on the wall for Jimmy Graham in Green Bay. With the second to last pick in the NFL draft, coming in at number 31, I have Los Angeles Rams selecting Greg Little, offensive tackle, Ole Miss. As you get to the back of the first round, you start to notice that not many of these playoff teams have really too many really big holes on their roster. But once again, protecting your quarterback is in the name of the game. The Rams have a good O-line, but with Andrew Whitworth planning retirement, you can never be too prepared. So you grab your future starting left tackle to take over in case somebody lays down and says out. With the final pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, number 32 overall, I have the New England Patriots selecting Jeffrey Simmons, defensive tackle, Mississippi State. If Simmons can improve his lack of instincts and add that to his rare combination of strength and athleticism, he easily has all-pro potential. Simmons is a top 7 caliber guy who fell due to injury and off-field concern, but what better team to send a player with a troubled past to than the Patriots? Look for Bill Belichick to get this guy healthy and playing at an all-pro level in the near future. And that wraps up my 2019 NFL mock draft. Thank you guys for staying tuned and listening to what I had to say about these young men. Make sure you guys drop a comment, your opinion on how this draft went, and if you have any different ideas, even though the draft is coming out today. Like the video, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos like this. And we got a bunch of different stuff coming to the channel soon.